All right, we've got another follower-submitted AITA story for you, and this one is, am I the ascon if I tell my boyfriend I don't think we should get engaged? I, 23 female, have been with my boyfriend, 24 male, for 3 years. For the sake of this story, I'll just call him T. T has been telling me for over 2 years he is ready to get married. Where we live, a year together is a long time to date before getting married. He has drunkenly told me that all he has left to do is talk to my parents. Well, here we are 2 years later, not even engaged. He has come up with several excuses to why he hasn't proposed. One reason was he wanted to live together first. Well, we've been living together for over a year. Another reason was that it's expensive. My parents have told him they plan on paying for the wedding, and I assumed he already had a ring. This comes from him saying all he has to do is ask my parents. Turns out he doesn't even have a ring. But all I want is a $150 moissanite rose gold ring. And he goes out golfing with his friends at least once a week. That ain't cheap. I told him if a $150 ring is too expensive for right now, then maybe he should not golf for a month to save up. Now, you may be thinking we don't have a lot of money or we are struggling. No, we both work decent jobs and live in a 3-bed, 2-bath apartment. We aren't rich, but we do pretty decent. One night, I straight up told him his excuses were complete bullshit. I said that I couldn't wait forever on him since he's been saying for 2+ years he is wanting to marry me. I told him that if we were not engaged by the end of the year, I would have to move on with my life. Since then, he has hinted he will propose by the end of summer. Now, here comes the issue where I don't think we are ready to get married. Lately, he has been over-prioritizing his friends. He games with them, golfs with them, will take their calls even if we are mid-conversation, and he even quit his job for a lower-paying job to be able to work with them. This especially makes me angry because he said getting married was too expensive. There are many times I will ask him to have a date night on the weekend, but instead he will invite his friends over to play games. I've had many talks with him stating I need to feel like his main priority. He always says I am, and he will make sure that I feel that way. Please note that things were not always like this. Not until we moved closer to his friends. I used to feel like I was the only person in the world that existed to him. He would drive almost an hour to surprise me just because he missed me. Well, here we are again. Another weekend where we had something booked with his friends every night and morning except Friday, tonight. I asked him if he and I could have a game night for a date. He told me his friend is sad that he sold his boat. That was not forced. His friend made the choice all on his own so he could buy a side-by-side and wants to hang out tonight. Hey bro, I'm feeling really beat up. I just sold my boat. Can we hang out? I had T call me to talk about this. I expressed how I really wanted tonight to be for us, since the rest was packed full of friend time, and he golfed with them the day before. He told me that what he really wanted to do was hang out with his friends, but if I didn't want to, then he'd tell his friends I said no. I don't want to be the bad guy, and I don't want to force T into spending time with me if that's not what he wants to do. At this point, I don't think we're ready to move on. When we've had the conversations about marriage, I feel like he's number one. Now I don't. I want to tell him that before we can talk further about getting engaged, that we need to work on this issue. But because of all the long conversations we've had and the deadline I set, I feel like I could be the asshole. I feel like this could upset him, and he could wonder why I even wanted to get married in the first place. So would I be the asshole if I told my boyfriend that I wasn't ready to get married? Okay, let's talk about this. Dude is definitely a brozo. We can just go ahead and get that out of the way. He's a brozo. He is allowing himself to be sucked in by his friends and allocate all of his time there. That's the problem. If it was balanced out at all, she wouldn't feel the way that she feels. Now I say that, but she mentioned that before they moved closer to his friends, she felt like the only person that existed in the world. So no matter what, there's a decrease in the amount of time that he's spending with her, and she may feel a little bit hurt by that. But it sounds like it's swinging from one extreme to the other, and that's rough. That is tough, and maybe that needs to be the context of the conversation here, OP. Maybe it needs to be, look, I'm not asking you to be the only person in your world like I felt like I was before we moved here, but right now I feel like the last person in your world. And earlier I mentioned a term, there are significant others and then there are insignificant others, and I feel like you've become an insignificant other here. Maybe you're being taken for granted. Whatever the case is, he needs to understand that in a successful relationship, there can't be too much me time and not enough we time. There will be problems if you don't provide a balance between me time and we time. That's just how it goes. He's got to learn how to find that balance, and you can accelerate that by giving him information. One of the things that Candy Thunder has done for me that I'm super grateful for is giving me feedback on that. It's really easy to get into a rhythm of, oh yeah, we golf every Thursday, we game every Friday night, we do this night of the week, we do this night of the week. It's really easy to get sucked into that, but pretty quickly you find yourself in a position where one person in this relationship is feeling neglected. neglected and feeling like they don't matter and their cup is empty. While what he's doing may fill up his cup, it's not for the relationship, but you've got to communicate that to him for him to understand. And it sounds like you've asked him to, and he says he will, and then just doesn't do it. So maybe he's just a brozo and that's the end of it. But first step would be communicate it. Say, look, I'm not bitching at you, but this is what's happening, and this is how this is making me feel, and this is what's going to happen if this continues. So I think we can fix it by doing this. Are you willing to do that? Make it turnkey. You can make it that easy because you know what needs to happen here. So just lay it all out there and be like, can you do this? If not, we're headed toward disaster. You're definitely not ready. I know that. You're not in a good place, and not being in a good place is not the right time to get engaged. It's not the time to get married. It's not going to fix anything. It's just going to solidify things. So the second step there, if communicating this doesn't end up working out, then you have to accept that you are nowhere on the priority list, and you have to have enough self-respect to move on and to thank him for the good times. But you value yourself more than he values you, and that just doesn't work in a relationship. Not a healthy one anyway. If you're okay being miserable for the rest of your life, yeah, go ahead and get married. Just the way it is now. But this is your future. Pretty heavy stuff. So if there's something that's a problem right now that you know makes you feel a way that makes you not want to get married, probably better solve that problem first. Your question here is, am I the asshole if I tell my boyfriend that I don't think we should get engaged? Hell no. You need to tell him. Number one, it's the truth, and he needs to know the truth. Maybe that's the wake-up call he needs to get his head out of his brozo ass and start providing some balance or learn balance. Right now, it sounds like he's got no balance. He was swung all the way your way when you lived further away, and now he's swung all the way back the opposite direction. There is middle ground there. He's got to find it. You can help him do it. Until then, hold off on putting that rock on the finger. Even if it's only a $150 one, it doesn't matter. It's symbolic. That's all you want. It's fine. I don't know. Maybe this is him just freaking out. He could clearly afford the ring that you're wanting if he's going golfing that often, because golf isn't cheap. Maybe this is him just freaking out and not wanting to get married and just either not realizing that that's what he's doing or being too afraid to tell you. So this conversation will at least open up that bigger conversation. Either way, not the asshole.